Uno, dos, tres. You should be in 3 weeks of your C group. That's the extent of my Spanish. That's all that I have. So, welcome. I hope things are going well. I trust that you're getting to know each other good and that you're diving deep into Romans and that God's revealing some stuff to you. And so thank you for staying in it. I know sometimes it's difficult, but the Lord's really going to teach us some great things in this whole series. Again, the theme verse for Romans, which Romans summarizes the whole Bible, but the theme verse of Romans is chapter 1, verses 16 and 17, when Paul says, "I'm not ashamed of the gospel." Why? Because it's the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes, first to the Jew, then the Gentile. Last week we talked a little bit of the difference in the Jew and the Gentile. Verse 17, Paul says, "For in the gospel," that's the good news, "the righteousness of God is revealed, a righteousness that is by faith from first to last, just as it's written, the righteous will live by faith." So what he mentions there, righteous and righteousness. And that's a biblical term that sometimes I think we talk about, but we don't really know what exactly it means. So righteousness simply means that we're being made innocent or made right. I'll give you an example. When I was 16 years old, I had my driver's license, and it was like complete freedom. If you've gotten your driver's license, you know it's amazing. And so you can go anywhere, you can do anything, so within reason. So I'm taking my girlfriend home late one night, and I'm driving, I think it's like 11:30, midnight or something like this, and I'm taking her home. And as we're driving, there's no traffic that's out, everything is clear, nothing's going on. We come to a four-way stop. Well, I look and I don't see anybody, so I just blow through the four-way stop. No reason to stop because it's nighttime, right? Whatever. And I'm like the cool guy taking my lady home. So we drive through that, and she turns to me and she says, "Do you see that cop back there?" And I was like, I knew there wasn't a cop back there. And I said, well, if there was a cop back there, I would just take this little Honda Civic 4-cylinder and I would just dust him and I'd be gone. And about that time, I looked at my rearview mirrors and got lit up by the red and blue and got pulled over. And I'm telling you what, I felt terrible. So this cop comes up and he just kind of is not real happy late at night, gives me a ticket, and I take my girl home. Now what I needed at that time was I needed some way to be righteous. I needed some way to be innocent so I could get out of the ticket. But he had me dead to rights. I mean, I rolled right through the stop sign. I think he asked me why, and I don't even know what I said. I was just trying to compose myself and keep it all together. So I go up to the courthouse to pay my fine, and I think I'm going to be, just pay and go. And so I walk up to this desk, and I'm shaking anyway because I'm a 16-year-old kid, and I feel like, I've just murdered somebody or something. And so I said to the lady, I have this ticket that I need to pay, and she's getting ready to write it all up, and somebody from behind her says, "Well, how old is he?" And she said, "How old are you?" And I said, "I'm 16. And the lady behind the desk said, "Well, he needs to go see the judge." And I'm like, why do I have to go see the judge, man? I'm just like, I ran a stop sign, I'm paying a ticket. And so they sent me down to see this judge. So I had to go into the judge's office, and I just said, you evidently need to sign this thing. And I'm telling you what, the judge was on me. He's like, "Why are you running a stop sign?" And all of a sudden he's digging into me. And what I needed at that point was to be righteous. I needed somebody to come in and say, "This man is innocent." I needed somebody to come in and say, "This man is right." But the only thing that was going to make it right in my life was for me to pay that debt. There was nobody else that was going to slide in there. I needed righteousness at that point. Okay? I needed to be made right. So, when Paul talks about righteousness, he's talking about being made right. That you and I have sinned against God, and the sins that we have against God are much more extreme than just running a stop sign. And we've sinned against God, and God as the judge looks at us and says, "You did this, you're going to have to pay for this now." But there's a righteousness that comes in, that we're made right because of what Christ did on our behalf. So righteousness and this whole concept and this theological construct of righteousness is a deep, deep part of the gospel or the good news. And so today you're gonna tear that apart, and you're gonna look at some of the different aspects of that, and you're gonna dig in and get your mind around righteousness. So it's gonna be a little bit deep today, but just remember that's what righteousness is being set right. And Christ came in just as if somebody would come in the last minute to me and say, "This guy's innocent. I'm gonna pay his debt. I'm gonna pay his fine, and we're gonna wipe it off of his record." That's what righteousness is. And so as you dig in, may God bless you richly as you participate. And I think as you explore this great gift of righteousness, what you're going to find is that you'll be moved a step closer to Christ.